Hi everyone, it's Beverly Cole. Welcome back to my RV studio, and if you're new here, well, I welcome you. I'm going to be using these Florida gardening magazines today. I've already gone through them for what I want to pull out, and I want to do some pages with flowers. I went ahead and I made a couple of envelopes just to practice, and I think they're really pretty. This is a full page like this. And I folded it, cut it and fold it into these coin envelopes. And I also did one with the ruffled edge. This would be the inside of the envelope, and this will be the outside. I have so many beautiful pages, as you can see, from this magazine. Just beautiful. And the other sides are beautiful as well. I may end up using this side for this one because I really like that window. The other sides are pretty enough to be the inside of an envelope, don't you think? So let's go ahead and make one. First thing I'm going to do is cut it down. I want it to be smaller than this, and it's going to have to be long enough to take up this top flap and then this little piece that's folded down. So about here, but I really like the bottom. So I'm gonna, and I'm not measuring. I don't need to measure. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut. Save all those little cutoffs. Then it needs to be wide enough for me to make the coin envelope. I think I'm just going to cut a little bit of this side off where they've got the mulch showing. Oh, my blade's already starting to do that nasty thing. Oh no, is this a new blade? Let's just take it easy. There, that's better. Gotta be careful. Oh, I also noticed I don't want these words, so I'm going to cut that off. Now we're going to fold. First fold. I just want to kind of meet in the middle, and I just need to overlap a tiny bit. So I'm just going to do it like that. Try to match the top and the bottom. I think I might have cut it a little crooked. I'm going to match it at the top because that's where I want to match it. You know, a coin envelope. A coin envelope. I have a bunch of coin envelopes. So it'll have this top flap, and then it'll have this bottom flap. And notice how it's folded over like that. So that's the first fold, and then I'm going to fold the bottom up just a bit, maybe a little more. If I'm looking at this one that I did, it was taller. I'll have to trim that. I can see that already. And then the top, I will fold down quite a bit. We want a bigger flap at the top. Okay, so now we have all these nice folds. I'll get my bone folder. We can make everything nice and tight. And you know, this isn't rocket science. I mean, you may have seen this before, but the whole idea with this is that we're using these beautiful pages from this magazine. Now let's unfold, and you can see all of the fold marks. And when you fold magazines, sometimes you'll actually kind of wear away the ink, so it makes it kind of easy to see the lines where you're going to cut. For the bottom, I'm just going to cut out the excess so it's not too bulky, so that we will cut out this side. And just follow those fold lines, both sides. So satisfying to see these beautiful images turn into something useful. Same at the top, cut out the excess. I'm going to cut the bottom little angle like that. And I'm not going to worry too much about it, but if you want to take this piece, you could put it over here and get the same angle. I'm not going to worry about it, and just cut another angle. And then same at the top. But the top is going to be rounded. I just thought of doing this. Don't fold, don't press down the fold. Just fold it over onto each other and cut both sides at once, where you can just kind of cut an angle like that. Open it up, and you have your top of your envelope. Both sides match because we bent it in half. And now we're ready to glue. You're just going to fold this one in first, and then this one overlaps. And like one of these, see how it overlaps right here? And then we're just going to use some glue. Still haven't finished this bottle. And just glue the center. And you could use any kind of glue for this, really. And then I'm going to glue the bottom up. This bottom piece over the folds like this, so it shows. And then the top, we don't glue. How fast. I do want to kind of just, that's bothering me. Let me just see if I can cut that more even. There's our beautiful envelope. Whoopsie, that's kind of at a cockeyed angle. That figures. That's better. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't. I'm going to show you the real thing here. I got nothing to hide. Oh my goodness. The better your straight edges are, the better your envelope. But look how beautiful, right? And I made these two, and look how pretty they are. So the inside doesn't really matter, although that one had really pretty plants on the other side as well. This one, when you open it, you get plants as well. It's so pretty. Let's do one more. This time, we're going to leave the torn edge so that when you fold it, look at that pretty ruffled edge. I don't need to leave a ruffled edge anywhere else. The rest of it will just be the same. If you notice on this one, I left the white edge, so it kind of stands out. This one's just going to be a torn edge right there. But the way the colors go together is really pretty. So I guess we could probably make 2 envelopes out of this. So I'm going to kind of cut it down the middle. Both very pretty. It'll be a little chunkier, but that's okay. It's more interesting if you make them all a little bit different. There's no measuring with this. It's just simply having fun. I'm just having fun. There, I cut that off, so that's even. And I'll do the same thing. Done. Another pretty little envelope. So we can put that aside. We have our envelopes. I'm thinking I could cut this out and put it in front of this house as one of those pages where we tear and we combine them. First, let me get a piece of deli paper to put underneath while I cut this down. This is really, really pretty. I think I'm going to put this in the journal that I made out of a magazine. We may have to put in a background. Let's see what happens. First things first, water and a Q-tip. This will be the background. I'm going to tear it. This is some very shiny. Remember, it's harder to do when there's lots of ink, so that'll take a little time here. And I really love these Florida houses. There's so many new houses going up that you don't really see as many of these as you might like to see. Oops, let's tear along where I put that. I may have to cut a little more off. And I'm thinking we may need a green background for this. That would be nice. Oopsie. Wet it enough. Always in a hurry, not sure why. This is part of my personality. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I had to do housework every Saturday morning at home. My sister did one floor, I did the other floor of the house, and couldn't play till I was done. So maybe that's why I rush. Rush, 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 rush. Get it done so I can play. This is funny because this is play. Ruffled edge. Remember, when we do this, it's to work the background and the pictures together so that they kind of blend in easier than these straight edges. So satisfying. The more ink, the longer this will take you. Just take your time. Don't be in a rush like me. And I may end up tearing more away, depending on whatever is underneath this. as a background. We're gonna have to look for one. That's not gonna be too difficult. I hope. I hope. This needs more water and more rubbing. The other piece that I want to add is this one. I just noticed that I do not want this here, right here, torn because it's a straight line. So what I'm going to do is cut it away. When a line is straight, that's the best thing to do, actually. Let's just get rid of this. Oh, it's on the other side. Okay. Always check the other side. Same with this edge. However, that could look pretty if I leave it. Yeah, could. So I'm not going to touch that one. Now we'll go around and tear the rest, which will actually be in further. So the water sitting here on this surface will help with the tearing. I want the tear near the plants. Remember, if you want to tear around something, put your finger on top of what you want to keep so that you don't remove it. And then that one, I'll just tear this edge. I don't know if did I wet that? I did. It's still not working. So what you can do is turn it over. You can see how the water didn't really saturate all of it. Putting water on the other side, especially if there's not much ink on that side, will help. This is looking good. There we go. What I may need to cut out, depending on where I put this, is I may need to cut this out, but I'm not sure yet, so we're not going to do that as of yet. We also need perhaps a flower garden. Could work. Let's see what else we have. That's kind of pretty. Let's do that. If you haven't seen my other video about controlling the tear, you may not understand what's happening here. What I'm doing is combining these images so that they blend into each other to make another scene. We're taking what we have and making it into something else. We're playing and having fun. This will be the garden in front of that house. You know, ever since I was little, I liked combining things. I would take my Barbie dolls and I would combine it with my Kenner house building kit, which was fabulous. I wish they still made those. Had all these little platforms and you could build houses on them with little plastic I-beams that popped into each other. And then they had plastic walls that were either brick or clapboard houses. And it was great. But when I took those platforms, I could build a whole floor plan for my Barbie house. So I always loved combining, and that's what this is. That's probably why I love it so much. It's just plain fun. So there we go. We have a house now that has this nice little entryway. And if we put it low enough, look at that. You can see like the sidewalk is going around the house. Isn't that fun? And then this also continues to be the sidewalk that goes this way. Fabulous how that fits. I hadn't even planned that. Then we have some flowers that can be right up here in front, like so. We'll put that in our book next. Let's start with the house first. Let's glue it down and see what happens. I'm going to glue it so that I cover all of the print at the top of the page. There won't be anything showing up here except for our torn edge. The torn edge, however, I think I'm gonna have to tear it in a bit because of the way it's hitting my spine. So we are going to indeed have to do that one again, which is I also used to take the little pegs that went to the Kenner house building kit and made them into little people. They were only about a ½ inch tall, and play out in the stone wall in front of our house and pretend they were cave dwellers. I didn't know the word cave dweller back then, I don't think, but they were cave dwellers. It was hysterical. I'd do that and I'd play for hours all by myself. And art like this, it's a kind of a solitary thing. Well, it's not when I share it with you. That's what makes it really fun, sharing it. But doing it alone is pretty solitary. I didn't need anybody else to play with me. And I don't think anybody else would really have wanted to because of the way I created things. That was my idea. I still got to take some off on this side. Do this to protect my other pages underneath. I don't want to ruin my books on the last page. And like I said, this album is going to be all the different techniques that we've used in the past. Now I'm thinking maybe I should glue this down. I think I'm going to do that first because I can leave this one for now, but this one I'm going to glue down. It gives me a better, if you look at this edge here, it's tearing. It's funny how some of these pages have like a tearing place where but this one's solid, so I'm going to just glue this down. Much nicer, much nicer, much nicer. Now we'll do this. And working on the page as, you know, my surface to mistakenly get glue on is perfect because it doesn't matter, it doesn't. It's just the page underneath and it's gonna get glue on it anyway. Oh, I'm not the neatest gluer. I'm not. I really ought to clean up with baby wipes. I have some right in the drawer behind me, but I'm so lazy. Here we go. There we are. Cover my glue so it doesn't ooze. Cover my glue so it doesn't ooze. There's the house. These kind of pages are lovely when you find one that you just adore. You know, the houses, they're beautiful. This is a Florida house. They're so pretty. Sometimes you see some that are really run down and it kind of makes you sad. Look how that looks. Okay, oops. Little tiny bit I didn't cover. I can't worry about that. I can't. I don't think anybody's going to notice. Unless I point it out. Now the next thing would be this. So because we saw how the sidewalks line up, it definitely has a spot where it belongs. I don't want to cover up too much. We want to control that tear. We don't want it to just tear haphazardly. So we want to make sure we wet it enough where it will tear. Perfect. Hopefully that's enough. Line up the sidewalk. When I do this, can you see how the straight edge was necessary? In fact, there's a little bit of black still there. That's better. So I'm lining up. I just like how this line connects with that one. Here's the sidewalk. Now we'll glue that on. And this is something that you can do with your grandkids. If there's nothing happening and they're kind of bored, pull out some magazines. You might want to bring your own. At my daughter's house, there are no magazines. And start doing this and creating scenes. It's quite entertaining. Let's line that up again. Sidewalk. There. Wonderful. Although this right here, I'm noticing, that doesn't look right. I've got to cut that some more. Ooh, let me just kind of pull that off. You have to notice, check everything. This is gonna look like there's bushes cut off on the sidewalk and I don't want that. So I gotta cut so that there's no shrubbery there. And that's gotta be cut with some straight lines. Much better. And it's just a magazine. It's just a magazine. It's funny because, yeah, it's just a magazine. But then after you start doing this for a while, magazines become very precious. Sidewalk lines up, board up there lines up. I think I'm a little high, but it's okay. There we go. That's better. See how it looks like you can go back there into that sidewalk? Yes. This looks like it could absolutely be around the house, around the side of the yard. There's a garden here and you walk back there. Now we still have this. And I was thinking of doing the sunflowers, but I'm not quite sure. Where's that magazine? Let me see what we find. Hopefully something that doesn't take too much work to cut out. Look at this one. These aren't flowers, but they're shrubs. How would that look? And then maybe some flowers in front of the shrubs. I'm going for this. And I need a new Q-tip. That one went worn out. You might think you could do this with a paintbrush, but I tried that, and because you're scrubbing, Q-tip definitely works better. So to go here, I'm going to just take the shrubbery, or maybe the grass. Let's try it with the grass. It's amazing how many people don't like to measure. Measuring just seems like work to me. I mean, I'll do it if I have to. If I don't have to, I won't. This I didn't have to. I'm just playing with it, see what happens. We have some more black, look at that. And because there's less ink on this side, I'm just gonna put the water on this side first. I suppose you could use an old paintbrush with very stiff bristles and try that. If you don't have any cotton swabs. If you have cotton swabs though, I would suggest just going for it. Now you might be thinking, why didn't I just go around these shrubs and this grass with a scissors? But these bushes are a little bit bumbly at the top. We know, right? You trim these things all the time. You know that they have little sticks that stick up and they keep growing. So those little sticks are growing already and they're not completely, absolutely smooth. Same with grass. Grass, this works fine for grass. Let's put this back where you can see what it looks like. That's fun. That is fun. That looks cool. I love that. I can pull this off a little more. I've just got to cut off those words. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I love that. It seriously looks like it. It really looks like that. Why didn't I do that before? Oh, always put something underneath if you're concerned about your table. I'm working on a counter that's unfinished raw wood. And it's like a butcher block. And when I get glue and stuff on it, I just scrub it down. I think someday maybe we'll finish it. Some kind of a varnish on it. There we go. Lovely. These edges are both rough. This one's rough too. That gets glued on. So this I'm going to put down as far as I can, just to cover up a little bit of stuff that's left. And hopefully this will work. Okay, that's going right there. I'm so happy with it. We combined the house, the trellis. I'm not quite sure if that's a trellis. The bushes, all from different parts of a magazine, maybe even more than one of those magazines. And the page is finished. I love it. Let's find out where these will look the best. These envelopes. Not sure if they would go on any of these pages in this book that we're working on. Let's take out another book. That could definitely go there. But now that I'm looking at these, I want to add a little something to them, I think. Pull out my box of tricks. I'm thinking maybe some twine. I've got green. I got yellow, but it's really pale. Pink. Purple. Black would go. Black would be nice on this one. Or this one. Green would be nice on this one. Or this one. I think I'm going to use, instead of the purple, I'm going to use the black. And we'll just... Oh, I've got a piece that was already separated from that. I used to work in a bakery. Yes, I've had every kind of job there is, probably. And we would just take the string from the ceiling and put the box on the edge like this and wrap it a couple times, right? And then we just twist it and wrap it again. And then loop it. Look at that, it worked. Loop it underneath and tie it. But I don't want to tie it. I just want, because I want to be able to open it. Okay, nice. So that can go in a pocket, and you can put things inside. You can put things inside, like cut out a piece of this, put it on a piece of cardstock. I loaded everything into the, there it is. I have this plastic bin now on my desk, thanks to going to my house and getting things. So now I have a place to put things and keep them from falling on the floor. Unless the whole basket falls on the floor. Glue that to a piece of cardstock. So let's pretend we already put things in here. And this one's going to go in my purple book. Oh, goodness. I forgot about that. Look at how beautiful. Yeah, we could do that. Now I have this little picture, and I think I'll just put that in here. So all we do is take our detail scissors, cut out our little piece of ephemera. Let's ink the edge of the spiced marmalade. Whoops, my glue just fell in the sink. Oh, the wonders of RV crafting. Get rid of the white edges. That's all I'm doing. Now we have this. We could put it on the outside of the envelope as well. I think I'm going to do that. That looks really cute. If I just put glue here or a paper fastener, then I can wrap the twine. Hold on. I have everything organized, but then I don't know where I organized it. So what I have here is my little brads. I keep everything very, very, very organized and small if I can. This one's just a little brass paper fastener. Let's just make a little hole. Right, a center. There we go. Put my little paper fastener through. Right here. There we go. Oh my goodness, I think I pushed it all the way through. No, that's good. Then I need to have a place to put it on here. So I'll have to just make a little hole with my scissors, not a big deal. Oh. Isn't it funny how things change while you're playing? I'm thinking of putting a piece, let me just punch a little tiny circle, a small punch hole thing to go on the back. Well, you should see my desk. It's just amazing how dirty it is. And I want to put it right there. And I have a tiny hole punch right here. I'm going to punch a hole in the center, hopefully. Not that it will really matter. This punch doesn't like to let go. There we go. It's not quite in the middle, but let's pretend it is. We'll pretend. And I'm going to glue it onto the back of there because this is just magazine. Magazine's not that sturdy. So we'll just glue that on to here, the inside, right over where I can see the little hole that I pierced. And then this will go on the front. And then I will open up those little prongs. Thankfully, they make one longer than the other, so you can get them apart. And now that little circle will help reinforce this. Okay. And then we can take some green. Is it green gonna look good? Or black? No green, no green. We're gonna use black. I think the black is prettier. It picks up the dark brown. Yeah. Okay, so what all I need to do is hold how much I want to tie around and then just I'm just going to go this way, I think. Okay. Is that how we do it? Oh, goodness, people. I need help. Let's just wrap it. Okay. All right, enough already. Enough already. I'm just going to start it around this with a length. Okay, and then wrap it a couple times. Like that, I guess. I guess. And it's not attached, so after you wrap it a couple times, you'll be able to pull this right off and open up your envelope. Another one of those things I'm not an expert at, but I'm willing to learn. And what you can do after you try this a couple times is go watch a video where someone does this. I'm gonna do that. So here's that envelope. Isn't it cute? Look at the back or the front. It's adorable. Now where will we put that one? So I think I'm just gonna stick it here and be done with it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.